Hello, world. It's your favorite servant leader, Omar L. Harris, with another edition of Leadership Bits. You may not consider yourself to be a leader, but you are. And in this moment, we need you more than ever. How do you upweight your leadership skills in moments that require leadership? Well, there's three things that we're going to discuss today. The first is consistency. Consistency means that there is alignment between what you say and what you do. You are someone who is authentic. You are someone who what you see is what you get, but in a positive fashion. You leverage positive consistency on a regular basis and not negative consistency, which means you are bringing smiles constantly, you're bringing energy constantly, you are bringing solutions constantly to the organization. So the first attribute is consistency. The second attribute is humility. Humility does not mean passiveness. Humility simply means you know what you know and you know what you don't know, and you focus on what you can control and influence and not what you are concerned about. So you have the humility to see in the wide world of possibilities that you need to investigate, you need to research, you need to analyze, you need to understand before making big decisions. So you're humble in the face of challenge and not egotistical or someone who knows it all. You understand that things can always be better, solutions can always be improved, execution can always be better. So this attribute of humility is fundamental for leaders in today's society. Lastly comes trustworthiness. Trust is the great power of today's boundaryless influencers. You have to be able to gain trust from others. And how do you gain trust? You gain trust by being a listener versus being a talker. You gain trust by understanding before acting. You gain trust by being curious about the world around you. You gain trust by being great at what you do. You gain trust by serving the other versus serving the ego. So these are the three key attributes that I want you to think about as we rise up and take ownership of this important moment: consistency, humility, and trustworthiness. And what are the benefits of this approach? Well, one, you will begin to have much greater influence over positive outcomes. Because you are consistent, because you are humble, and because you are trustworthy, the information you are receiving is going to direct you and align you towards what is the most important thing, the most positive thing that I can be doing on a day-to-day basis. And that's powerful. So you begin to really drive progress against positive outcomes. Second real benefit is you become an advocate for change within the organization. So you're no longer waiting on the sideline or looking for someone else to point the way. You have your own perspective and your own point of view on what needs to be done and how to drive things forward. And you begin to have the ability, with all the humility necessary, to advocate for positive change. And lastly, you begin to become a servant for the greater good. In this moment, more than ever, we all need to come together and serve the greater good. That's what today's circumstances require, is everyone to rise, become more consistent, become humble in the face of challenge, but also gain trust of others so that we can build a coalition of willing, humble leaders that are ready to change the world and drive positive outcomes. So today's question for you is, what can you do starting today to become more consistent, to infuse yourself with more humility, and to become more trustworthy to those around you? I'll leave that question to you in the comments. We can discuss below. For now, that's been your Leadership Bit with your servant leader, Omar L. Harris. Take care.